Я сейчас подойду, подожди. Я себе. Ебать!
So it is about 3 o'clock in the morning.
You see it in a small telescope, and you see it in binoculars. It seems to be amazingly bright.
Yes, you can see it with binoculars. You can see it in a small telescope. Grant is another astronomer.
Region are being warned to stay inside as severe tropical cyclone Rusty edges towards land.
The northwest coast of Australia is bracing for the arrival of Cyclone Rusty. This strong wind and rain in the town of Port Hedland, just a small foretaste of what's to come. We're talking Noah's Ark, warned a local weatherman, predicting phenomenal amounts of rainfall.
wind has really started to pick up.
This is Pardue Roadhouse today, taking a belting from Cyclone Rusty.
Pardue in the Pilbara has borne the brunt of Cyclone Rusty, taking a direct hit as the monster storm crossed the coast. In daylight, the extent of the damage became clear. Buildings torn apart and widespread flooding.
Heavy rain across much of Queensland has caused flash flooding and chaos on the roads. An emergency flood warning has been issued for the Lockyer Valley, with residents told to evacuate if necessary. Rain is forecast for much of the state again today. This year's wild weather has already delivered Brisbane more than half its annual rainfall.
The Weather Bureau has crunched the numbers and judged summer as a record breaker. John Schluter looks back at the eventful season and forward to autumn.
It'll go down in history books and our memories as a wild season. 10 tornadoes menaced the state. Cyclonic winds battered the southeast, and flooding rain hit vast areas of the state thanks to ex-tropical cyclone Oswald.
It was as if a Category 1 cyclone was coming down the coast.
The number of rainfall records smashed was a record in itself.
We had 100 daily rainfall records broken this summer.
But not everywhere. The areas in blue show very much above average rainfall, only from Rockhampton south to the border.
A rare late-season blizzard in Western Europe is causing chaos. Heavy snow buried parts of England and stranded cars overnight, forcing some drivers to abandon their vehicles. Parts of France got up to 19 inches of snow. On Tuesday, more than 1,800 flights across Europe were canceled and thousands were delayed. A stretch of Germany's Autobahn was shut down after a crash involving more than 100 vehicles. 20 people were hurt.
Sweeping south from the UK, the snow hit northern France and Belgium hard. Germany and the Netherlands have also been suffering. Heavy snow and ice are causing major problems.
Moscow is no stranger to snow, but so much at this time of year is unusual. Nearly a month's worth fell on the city in just 24 hours. Authorities say they've cleared 300,000 cubic meters of snow since the storm began on Wednesday. And it's not just an inconvenience. The roof of this sports hall collapsed and several other buildings have been damaged.
Snow, not unexpected in Eastern Europe at this time of year. But after a relatively mild winter so far, this vicious icy blast caught many, including the emergency services, by surprise. Major roads across the country were blocked by snowdrifts of up to 3 meters as winds gusted to 100 kilometers an hour. The Hungarian Red Cross puts the number of people stranded overnight on the M1 motorway at 10,000. Many of them foreigners travelling between Budapest and Vienna. Jackknifed trucks added to the chaos. At least 2 people were killed and many others injured in a series of collisions.
At least 9 people have been found dead following a powerful blizzard that swept through the northern Japanese island of Hokkaido over the weekend. Rescue workers near the town of Nakashibetsu uncovered a family of 4. All died in their car as it was engulfed in snow. Japanese media said many local residents described Saturday's blizzard as the worst they could remember, with zero visibility and hurricane-force winds, adding to the already freezing temperatures.
This is Skyu. This winter it has received more than 5.5 meters of snow, the most ever recorded anywhere in Japan.
This might just look like an enormous pile of snow, but right underneath me here is a house.
The meringue-like snowpack is beautiful, but also destructive. The weight of all this can easily crush the houses.
Heavy rains and flooding in southwestern Ecuador leave at least 8 people dead. The storm hit the country's largest city of Guayaquil, flooding streets and stranding drivers. Officials reported that those who died included 1 person who drowned and 6 who were electrocuted. Local authorities have declared a state of emergency.
Fisheries experts are investigating what caused the death of thousands of fish on the Eyre Peninsula. The juvenile leather jackets have washed up along a 10-kilometre stretch of beaches south of Port Neal over the last week.
Absolutely incredible. I've never seen a fish kill like it in all my time travelling around the countryside.
Authorities believe unusually strong winds over several days may have caused the mass killing.
Have a big problem, and it's kind of a gross one too. Genetically mutated rats. Army snipers are going out at night hunting these things. An environmental expert says he thinks they're growing so big because they've been exposed to radiation and chemicals.
For the past 2 nights in a row, Devin Webster heard a mysterious booming sound at his home here in Chesney.
It rattled the room a little bit, the windows.
The same noise boomed through cow pens and at Barbara Lee's house near Gaffney.
For me, it felt more like it was vibrating the floors.
Neighbors tell us they don't know what's causing the sound or where it's coming from. They just say they hear it at night around 8 or 8:30.
A violent winter storm has battered the US East Coast, damaging homes in Massachusetts and causing travel chaos. The coastline was battered by 3 high tides during the duration of the storm, the worst on Friday morning when some roads in coastal towns were flooded with up to 3 feet of water. It also dropped nearly 2 feet of snow in some parts of the mid-Atlantic.
It was the strongest quake numerically in the LA area in 3 years.
Parts of Israel have been dealing with a plague of biblical proportions. Massive locust swarms are coming into the country from Egypt and are destroying crops. The clouds of insects are darkening skies in southern Israel just in time for the Jewish Passover holiday. Passover recounts the 10 biblical plagues, one of them locusts.
In a backwater creek on Florida's southwest coast, Florida wildlife officials are racing the clock to save lives.
There were 3 that were traveling out this way along the boat.
They're searching for endangered Florida manatees known as sea cows, gentle giants that spend their days eating plants in coastal waters and rivers. Already threatened by speedboats and cold snaps, they are now being killed by something else, a large poisonous algae bloom known as red tide, stretching from Sarasota to Fort Myers, Florida. So far this year, it has killed 184 manatees, compared to the previous record of 151 in 1996.
Beijing's Tiananmen Square, guards are busy keeping up with the return of thick smog. Haze mixed with a sandstorm on Thursday to blanket the capital in toxic levels of air. A reading of hazardous particle matter, or PM 2.5, showed levels well beyond recommended daily intake. Air quality fell to the worst on record in January. It's become a major challenge for new leader Xi Jinping, who'll become president at the national...
Amazing pictures from Mount Etna. Now, it's been erupting over the last couple of weeks, and it's been sending plumes of ash flying into the air as it continued this series of recent eruptions. And this time, though, it appears to have happened at a new crater at a height of nearly 3,000 meters. And despite all the...
Rio de Janeiro, known for its signature statue as well as its exotic wildlife. Now there's something fishy in Rio. Dead fish are washing up on the shores of Rio de Janeiro's main lagoon, and no one is quite sure why. The city's environmental officials believe a high concentration of algae that reduces the oxygen level in the water might be the cause.
It was a bright and sunny morning as thousands of people made their way to St. Peter's Square to celebrate the Pope's inauguration Mass. Doors opened at 6:30 a.m. and by then many were ready to get a good spot. The newly elected Pope passed through St. Peter's Square in the Pope-mobile as people waved their flags and congratulated him. It was precisely during this journey that the Pope saw a disabled person among the thousands gathered there. He got out of the car, walked over, and personally blessed him. Along with cardinals and patriarchs, the Pope prayed a few minutes in silence before the tomb of St. Peter. In the background, the Thou Art Peter song was being played as more than 150,000 people waited to celebrate Mass with the new Pope.